Welcome your hosts, Caddy Frank and Sarah Kemp, as they lead discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Sarah Kemp. Caddy is in a class this week, so you have your favorite co-host, Sarah, with you this week. I also have...
Hi, everyone. My name is Eli York. Most people know me as Eli, so I'm happy to join the show today.
And he is going to talk about who he is, how he found his recovery, and how he found Minnesota Recovery Connection. So first, I need to do my special thank yous. So thank you to the Amy and Patrick Butler Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, along with many other funders, and to help get this program going. We also want to give a big thanks to our volunteers. We couldn't do what we do without our volunteers, and so it's important to me to make sure they know that they are appreciated. And I'm also inviting everybody, if you can, we're always looking for donations. So join us in supporting our mission by becoming a monthly or annual donor at the level that resonates with you. Or by volunteering with us. Donate your time to support the recovery community. If you want to learn more about what Minnesota Recovery Connection does, you can visit our website, minnesotarecovery.org. And we got a brand new website, new logo, so come check it out. You can also give us a call too if you want to learn more about us. So, Eli.
Yes.
What is it right with you today? Because that's how we start every show.
Something right with me today, I would just have to say, is my motivation to continue moving forward with what I've kind of produced for myself, along with the help that I've had along the way this past year. So overall, I'd say I'm in a great mood and just kind of motivated to continue it going. So
That's awesome.
Thank you. What about you, Sarah?
I would say having a job that I get to help people grow. Watching you come in, because Eli started as a volunteer and now he's an intern with us, and we'll dive more into that. But watching people grow, giving them the opportunity to learn new things, that's the cool part about my job. So getting to witness that firsthand is pretty cool.
I guess I would say it is very awesome that I've had this opportunity. So I look forward to continuing and giving back as much as I can.
So, because the show's all about you, why don't you give us who Eli is, why Minnesota Recovery Connection? So yeah, just start there.
All right. So so my name's Eli. I'm originally from Southern California. I was born and raised in Riverside County, in a small town named San Jacinto. Many people don't know about it. You know, a lot of times people think about California.
Yeah.
They're thinking about all the beach and the warm weather, and
Or I think of like LA, San Diego,
traffic.
San Francisco.
Yep.
Like the bigger cities.
Yep. So it's just kind of, that's kind of what everyone expects when you tell them you're from Southern California. But like I said, small town, desert, rural, kind of grew up kind of on the sticks in California. I moved out here to Minnesota about 2016. I followed my now fiance to Minnesota. She went to Hamline University one year for freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So the long distance thing was pretty tough. So I decided to pick up my life, find a job, move out here, and all that seemed to work out. It worked out pretty good.
You knew about the winters, right?
I had no idea about the winters. And the thing was, I moved here during January.
Oh my God. So you went from Southern California, so probably heat, a lot of heat, to snow, cold, ice, negative wind chills.
Yep. And
okay.
I miss it so much, but Minnesota is home. And,
yes.
And just kind of this whole path of my own recovery has been quite the journey, and something I never really understood how important it could be to understand your mental and physical health. So I would just like to thank MRC, Minnesota Recovery Connection, for allowing me to do the CPRS training, Certified Peer Recovery Specialist training, and just kind of being involved around the you guys has been really beneficial for me. Like you said, I have really enjoyed the training and just the whole learning aspect of it. And like I said, I just hope I could give back as much as you guys have given me. So
So what was it about? I mean, I know you did the peer recovery specialist training through us, but what about our organization made you want to stick around?
I guess you guys' longevity and knowing that you guys have been around longer than anyone else.
Since
you know.
2009,
Yep.
the
So,
OGs of the recovery community organizations.
yep. So I figured, why not go with the place that pretty much started it all in the state? I also went to outpatient treatment facility. I was at Wilder Foundation off of Lexington and University down in St. Paul. My peer guide that I had there, he told me about MRC, Minnesota
Okay.
Recovery Connection. So that's kind of how I started looking into you guys some more.
Oh, that's awesome. Because sometimes we're still a secret in the recovery community, even though we've been around for so long. A lot of people still don't know
Yep.
about us. So I'm glad that you were recommended
Yes.
by your peer recovery
peer.
specialist
Yep.
at outpatient.
Yes.
So good. So you started volunteering with us after you took the training,
Yes, I did.
and now you're an intern with us.
Yes, I am.
So that's very exciting. And now you're getting opportunities like this
Yes, I am.
to
And
share your story
yes.
and help educate about what substance use disorder is and how recovery is possible.
Yes.
And that's the main message that I want to focus on today is, of course, your story, but how the support you have from your fiancé, from your family, how that helped you drive into recovery.
Yeah. And I can give you, all the information about that for sure.
Good.
It's just how much do you want to know?
As much as you're willing to tell me. So why don't you give us a start of your story?
So I was a mechanic for 12 years. And with that came a lot of isolation and loneliness. And you know what that means. Isolation, loneliness usually leads towards your substance of choice, and for me, that was alcohol. I was very big into alcohol.
I wouldn't think mechanic as a lonely job.
Well, I guess when you think of like normal large companies like Ford, Chevy, and all of them.
Because you're working solo a lot of the
Yes.
time?
Yep.
Okay.
I was a small little local shop in Roseville, and it was very small and independent. You kind of had to do your own job on your own time. We're not really getting watched or looked after. So,
Okay.
it just formed a lot of alone time, and and it's just not being able to communicate with other human beings, and just kind of understand how to properly communicate, because I never really had to communicate with people very often because my communication was with my hands on the car.
Sure.
So to shift from that and then come into working on becoming a CPRS and, now certified peer recovery specialist, it has made me understand why I was possibly feeling the way I was during that time.
Okay.
Just due to the fact that, the isolation was a big key. I was a very outgoing person in California. I moved out here. I felt like I became very isolated. So I found a job that was very similar to that.
That's never a good sign.
And it's just I kind of lost my thought train of
Nope,
thought
it's
there for a
okay.
second.
It's okay. Okay, so you were a mechanic.
Yes.
You had a job that you felt isolated. I'm sure other people at your work were also imbibing,
yes.
perhaps.
Yeah.
So that made it easy
Yes.
to want. I don't know if want is the right word, but it made it easier to do certain things while you're at work.
Yep, fall into that habit because, I was being shown ways of, having a good time while you're at work, and
that's not typical.
No, it is
in most working environments, I will say.
Yeah, it's not promoted to, party after every single work day. So
no, not typically.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it induced. It was everywhere there, and it just kind of it fed into that fact that I knew I was having fun. Yeah. And not many consequences came along with that. So.
Well, you know what, everybody? We're going to take a break. I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger, so you stick around to hear the rest of Eli's story. Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950.
This guitar needs 6
Welcome back to
strings,
Redefining
'cause
Recovery, a
there's
recovery
no
revolution
sun.
here on AM 950. That song always makes me think of sunshine.
Yeah, I'd say it reminds me of the beach too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
on a day like today
Yeah.
when the weather has gotten colder and we got snow, it makes
Yep.
me smile a little bit.
Yep.
So we left you on a cliffhanger about Eli. So now we're gonna hear the rest of his story. So okay, recap. You moved here from Southern California, working as a mechanic. You had a job that was isolating. You were partying after work.
Mhm.
So what next?
All right. So I was, I was drinking all the time at work. As soon as it hit 12 o'clock on the dot, I knew where I was going. My lunch break, drive down to the liquor store, grab what I needed, and then try to make that last until about 3 o'clock. And then, that cycle repeated itself. And from there on, it just kind of never slowed down. It seemed to only continuously pick up and kind of dictate how my day was going to be operated at work, because it's a disease and the disease wanted what the disease wanted. And at that point, it wanted that more than being productive and coherent.
And once that switch is turned on, as you and I both know, it's hard to turn it off.
Yes, it is. And, especially being in an environment like that, it never really conduced for you to be more aware of how you're feeling or, what may be going on in your life that you may want to spend a little bit more time focusing on.
Mhm.
Because at that point, I felt like that's all I wanted in my life was to make myself feel better by forgetting all the stuff that might have happened in my past.
Mhm. Makes sense. I mean, that's why the majority of people have a substance use disorder. They want to forget something,
Yep.
escape from something.
Yep.
So,
it's as that continued on, I'd, once it got towards the end, I'd start waking up, the next morning, looking out of my window to make sure that my car was parked straight in the backyard. Because to me, that would mean I had a successful night of being able to get home and try to be quote unquote present for my fiance.
that sounds dangerous.
It's very dangerous. And looking back at it, it kind of put a lot of shame,
And I'm not trying to put shame on you.
No,
Whatsoever.
No, and I'm not. I know you're not. But just at that time, early stages of my recovery, like there's a lot of shame that comes with the actions that you might have taken.
Trust me, I know.
And like we both know how that feels.
Yes.
And after that shame, that's when you have to try to rebuild your confidence and your understanding of why you might have been doing things that aren't correct.
And being on some level okay with it.
Yes.
Is what I've learned that I have to do, because it's happened. I can't change it. I did what I did. There is that level of I was in my active substance use disorder. So not that it's an excuse, but it makes it a little bit more okay for me to.
Yeah, like a little bit more manageable, because
Yeah.
it's like now you kind of understand why it was that way.
Yeah.
So I mean you're allowed to give yourself some of that reprieve, because like you said, that's not who we are. So
No, and I really want people to understand that are listening to the show that if you have had a substance use disorder in your past, or you're in active use right now, that does not have to define you. Eli and I and Caddy and anyone else who has been on the show are prime examples that just because you have issues with substances, that does not mean that's who you are for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Well put.
Okay, so you made sure your car was in the driveway.
Yes. Yep. So and at that point I knew it was starting to get more severe, because I was, not sleeping properly through the night, waking up with sweats, heartburn, all that fun stuff that comes along with it. And then one night, January 29th of 2025, I came home intoxicated like usual, just a normal day, normal schedule. Got home and I thought I was having a normal conversation with my fiance for a while, but she heard me slur a word. And to me, I was an extremely high functioning alcoholic. Like I was talking about earlier, I was able to work and still function, do other
Drive.
stuff, drive, and all that other stuff. So I was able to kind of hide my disease when I was at home, and not necessarily show its ugly face.
So she had no idea
Not-
until that moment.
Yeah, not for many years. I'd say
Wow.
about 6 years that I was at that last place I worked. It was pretty consistent almost every single day. So
I mean, I don't know if impressive is the right word because that does not seem appropriate. But
yeah,
that's dang.
yeah, and and that was another reason why I was really kind of beating myself up for a while, because it was like, you wasted. It felt like to me I wasted 6, 7 years of my life.
I get it. I felt like when I first got in recovery, I was like, because I had my active use for 5-ish years.
Mhm.
I'm like, that was 5 years. I'm never gonna get back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should be further in life than I am.
Mm-hmm. And then you just feel like you've missed out on so
Yeah.
much once you're, you have your mind kind of cleared out from all the cobwebs that you might have had. And,
Yep.
it's just stuff like that. So going back to the story, so I went to bed that night, and she woke me up at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And she had gone through my cell phone because she had that itching suspicion that he's drinking. So her intuition was correct, and she went and she found a lot of purchases for alcohol. And that night it was very challenging, because we were kind of fighting between going to an inpatient right away, or if I could show her that I am determined to go to outpatient, work the system, and be able to show her that I'm willing to change.
Yeah.
That maybe I can prove to her that I do want to be a better person for her, not only her, but for myself and for everyone else that is a part of my life.
Key point for yourself.
Yes.
I will say.
Yes.
I just want to touch on that real quick, and then we'll
Yeah.
get back to you. But you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta want recovery for yourself.
Yes.
Everyone else is great,
Yep.
but you gotta want it yourself
Yep.
for it to stick.
Well, and how some people say, like, oh, sometimes recovery sounds like it's so selfish because you're just worried about yourself so much. But in reality, you need to be worried about yourself, because sometimes we have to monitor ourselves, because we weren't monitoring ourselves for so long that's kind of what also helped,
Yep.
explore that portion of our life that, we did.
Yeah.
So,
And recovery, no matter how long you're in it, I think always will seem selfish, because you got to make sure you're always doing okay. So there is some selfishness to it, but at the end of the day, it's to help you be a better person, so you can show up in life for your fiance, for your family, for Minnesota Recovery Connection, for school, because I know you're
Exactly.
going to school too.
Yeah, I have a full load of work that I try to keep my days fairly busy, because there's a lot of dead time when you're trying to really figure out yourself. And it's like I've learned hobbies that I've enjoyed, but they're only during this warmer months. So during these colder months, it really has driven me to volunteer, get my certification done, and just kind of give back as much as I can, while I'm still working at becoming the ultimate version of myself.
So when I was talking to Eli about this before we came here today, I wanted him to touch on, so your fiance has been through all of it with you.
Yep.
And that is not always the case.
No.
Because a lot of times what we hear is significant others either leave or they start using themselves because their partner is using. So what was that like?
So for me, we're both raised very differently. I was raised more independent. I lost my father when I was 12. Parents got divorced at a very young age. So I always felt very uncomfortable being home all the time.
Oh, okay.
And so whereas she had a lot more structure, guidance, and I guess you could say love in some parts of life.
Mm-hmm.
That, she kind of recognized that I wasn't, I didn't receive as a child. So I think as this path and how she's seen me grow from, a silly 18-year-old boy right out of high school to now 28 going on 29. It's been 10 plus years of me and her being together. And sometimes I joke with her now that you've been with 3 different men this entire time.
3 different versions of Eli.
Yep. And it's just I just think that she is very strong-willed, and she
loves the Jesus out of you.
She does. And it's taken me, I have felt so terrible for taking that love for granted, in the past. But as I've gone through my recovery, I've been trying to give her that respect back towards her, because I want to show her that I do want to become a better man for her and myself, like I've said before, because ultimately she is my life partner. And I know she is my life partner because, like you said, not many people stick around when someone's dealing with substance use disorder.
And for the fact that she is willing to be a support for you and be that rock for you, that's amazing.
Well, and
she gets a lot of credit for that.
She does get an immense amount of credit, and I always try to remind her, I can almost guarantee I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't have someone as sturdy as you.
Well, who knows? I mean, in all honesty, you might still be out there in your active use.
Yep. Because I didn't have that one person that was caring for me to tell me, like, hey, buddy,
you need to get your bleep together.
Yeah, like figure it out.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not going to be here around. So I took that as a direct warning that you need to work on yourself.
Yep.
Because ultimately she just wants the best version of me, and that's what she's always wanted, and I've just been so blinded by my substance use to where I didn't think that I was going to really get anywhere in life. Whereas now I get to tell her, hey, yeah, I got my certification. Hey, I just got an internship at Minnesota Recovery Connection. Hey, I have this job, interview. And it's like all these things that
she gets to be on the radio for the first time.
Yes, and she's super excited about that. She can't wait to hear this. And it's just, stuff that I never, ever could have ever thought would have been possible, because I was just so fogged in the brain that I was honestly felt like I was playing a victim to myself.
Because you probably were on some level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we all are, or most of us are when we're in our active use.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're doing the actions behind the words.
Yes. Yep.
Because you can say, I'm going to get in recovery. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to do all these things. Great. But now you're actually doing the things and doing all the recovery work.
Yep.
And now you're in the space where you're learning how to give back.
Yes.
Providing peer recovery services to individuals.
Yep.
So I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, so you got in recovery when?
I got in recovery 3 days after January 29th of 2025.
Okay.
So I tried to go in as quick as I could. Granted, those 3 days going into there was just mainly my detox, because I didn't want to go into the intake shaking, because then they'd be like, we kind of have to go watch you medically. And I know going cold turkey off of alcohol is one of the worst things to do.
It's dangerous.
It's probably the worst thing to do, but I guess I just wanted to see if I was capable of doing it, because if I was capable of doing that, then I would be capable of continuing on my recovery. And in the early stages, I was very mean and harsh to myself. Like
a lot of us are.
Yeah, and
angry.
Going into treatment, like I had to tell myself, you have a problem. Like I had to verbally, like out loud, tell myself in front of people, I have an issue.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot for someone to be willing to accept the fact that, hey buddy, like, yeah, something's wrong. So,
and I want to say, and I could be completely wrong, so I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sometimes it's harder for men to admit that.
Yeah, and I guess me too, coming from a blue collar background. Drinking culture's giant in the blue collar background. I mean, you hear guys talk about drinking beer right after work all the time, because it's the only way we back then knew how to relax from a long laborious day of work,
and or build that sense of community
exactly.
while you're at work.
Yep. Because you want to hang out after work and be able to have conversations that aren't revolved around work, and what better time,
or go to happy hour, or go,
Yep. And I've had so many of those opportunities in the past, like helping customers out. Hey, let's go to the bar after work and I'll buy you a couple shots. And you're just like, woo, I don't need money. Like, let's just go do
let's go do this.
Yeah. But it's just, I mean, it honestly, makes me super thankful that I've been able to have this woman in my life. Because without her, I mean, I honestly can't tell you where I'd be
Yeah.
today. And that just goes into the fact of me just learning about my issues that I've had, and being driven to be able to go and want to figure those out.
Yeah.
And I can thank her for that, because she stuck by my side going through those times where I didn't understand myself.
She saw something you weren't able to see
Yes.
in the moment. And now, not only are you showing up for yourself and for her, but you're living the life that you were meant to live.
And that's exactly what it feels like now. Like, I feel like I was meant to give back to people. I feel like I was meant to talk to people in general and just
Yeah.
be part of the community, instead of, feeling like I needed to be on the sideline because I wasn't comfortable with myself. So that uncomfortability made me uncomfortable around other people. And
Which I can't imagine, because you're a very outgoing person.
well,
You're very, like, when I see you, you're very outgoing and you're very, like, friendly to everybody. So I can't imagine you shy.
well, it's just, like I said, when I moved out here, I became very isolated because, like, I left my group that I had back home that I grew up with for so long. And, it does
And you
just,
also moved here during, like, one of the worst months.
yes.
Let's be real.
So you're just kind of like, what do I do? It's too cold outside. But,
You gotta learn to go ice fishing.
I do. I haven't done that yet in 10 years I've lived here. So
So I don't know anything about ice fishing, but I'm sure we could find you somebody.
I definitely, I'm sure we could. It'd be a good time. But yeah, it's, it's just, for me, it's just being able to have the freedom and, like, the understanding of who I am, like the freedom to make choices without my substance of choice,
Yes.
and not let that dictate how my life plays out. And then just kind of the understanding of why I might have thought like that in the past, and just kind of the understanding of how I was using my substance to kind of negate those feelings of, self-worth, negative self-worth, like just the anxiety in general, because I'm a very anxious person.
Yeah.
I've been diagnosed with PTSD. So I have to be very mindful of myself, especially where I'm at. I mean, going into public places, it never used to be my favorite thing. That's why I always
Sure.
felt like I had to drink.
Oh, okay. So you use the
I used
alcohol to
to-
mask the PTSD,
Yep.
and then you felt more comfortable being unsocial.
Yep. And I didn't have to be so alert and, looking around at everyone to make sure I'm not under attack, or like someone's thinking something badly of me. Because,
Sure.
when you're thinking like that repeatedly, then those things start to turn into reality,
Yep.
because you're thinking about them so much. And, I've feel like I've shifted that thinking to thinking towards all the positive things that I can continue to work on, while having that positive support system back home, or at home. And, just continuing to try to show them that I'm really working on myself. I really want this. I don't want anything to be taken from me. Granted, I know stuff can be taken from you, but we have those steps that we can help prepare ourselves if something like that were to ever happen.
Yep. And you're now able to show up in more ways than one.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And like I said, when we were going through the training in just back in December, after the first um motivational interviewing style questions that
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
do.
The open-ended
Yeah,
questions.
and
Yes.
it's just like, I actually went home and
You
I
practiced?
started practicing, and like, I would listen to my fiance and see what she was doing for work, and then I'd try to ask her more questions so I could try to get some more information.
Did it work?
It did, and she told me that that was the first time she ever felt like she could have a full conversation with me about what she had going on at work, because her work, she works in HR, she does all this fantastic stuff for the
Mhm.
psychiatry firm, but it's a lot of stuff I have no information or knowledge on, because
You just
wasn't
don't have that background.
I didn't have that background. So, for me to be able to ask those questions and try to understand, it allowed her to be fully, of available to be able to tell me what she has going on at work. And I'll actually be able to sit there and be like, wow, okay, soak it in and try to understand it more. Instead of it
Active
being,
listening
it's
skills.
amazing, isn't it?
They work, people. If you ask open-ended questions,
They work.
you are
man.
going to have a much more rich conversation.
Definitely. definitely.
And it sounds like it. Do you still do it at home?
I do it at home, yeah. And I mean, that's
Does
another.
she do it for you?
She does, because she's trying to figure out, what I've been doing throughout the day. She wants to know what the internship's all about. She wants to know what all these job applications I've sent in are all about. And she's just very curious because she knows this is a new realm for me. So it's also sparked that curiosity for her to try to understand, what I have going on.
Well, and also to help her learn what
Yeah.
what working in the recovery community is like.
Well, and she sees it every single day when I get home because I'm just so happy to, be able to go home and talk about, hey, this is what I'm going to be hopefully learning soon, or hey, this is what I was able to do today. And like, it might not seem a lot to some people, but to me, I'm like, wow, this is all brand new. And it's all brand new to her because she's never been able to really,
Yeah, she's in HR, so she, the recovery industry. Industry sounds so fancy, but the recovery field is brand new for both of you.
Yeah.
So you're both learning together in a way.
Yes. And that's honestly very beautiful because we've also been able to go through this path together. And, like I said, I just couldn't imagine not having her by my side.
And I love hearing, because that's not always the case for everybody. Not only a significant other, but just having that support system built in.
Yep.
It's amazing when people do have that, because I think it really does help propel somebody's recovery when they're ready, knowing that someone's going to be there to support them. So I had my parents, you have your fiance.
Yep.
So, I mean, having that built-in support is amazing.
Well, and it's like, you can't ever I'll never forget about just the times that she's had to put up with my drunkenness. And, it's just looking back, I can only imagine how embarrassed she must have felt sometimes, just based off of how I was acting. And for her to still be,
That's my boyfriend over there doing the
yeah. It's just, it really shows me that, I've put her through quite some time, and now I want to show her that I can be, the man I know I can be for her. And
and you were telling you and me and Caddy were talking yesterday. You were talking about going to a couple weddings this last summer, and not drinking and actually enjoying them.
Yes, and to me, weddings were horrible. Like, I was supposed to get married last year.
Yep.
So to me, going to my friends' weddings, I wasn't quite sure how that was going to go because we postponed our wedding due to me trying to understand my substance use disorder.
Good call.
Yeah, I agree. It probably is for the best that I figure that out before we sign some legal documentation.
Yep. She might agree too.
I'm sure she does. So going to those weddings, I mean, these are like friends that I've had in the state of Minnesota for some time now. But granted, I felt like I was never really there for them because I always had to be drunk to be able to hang out with anybody that was outside of my house. I couldn't even really hang out by myself without being drunk at the time. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
But going to these weddings really showed me that, you don't need to drink to be able to have a good time. You don't need to drink to be able to talk to people that you might not know, may never, see again. But just to feel comfortable in your own skin, be present in the situation
is huge.
Yes. And the changes are immense because, I look back, I don't remember a couple of my other friends' weddings because I was too focused on making myself feel good,
Getting that fun feeling.
Yeah, get the fun juice going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I know I mentioned you were going to school.
Yes.
So what are you going to school for?
So I am going to school to become an LADC, licensed alcohol and drug counselor.
Thank you.
The reason for that being is I've heard throughout the community of substance use disorder that sometimes when people do go to find an LADC, they don't necessarily have a recovery background themselves.
Well, and they also don't have to disclose that to you.
They don't. And, sometimes I feel like that could make people feel like they're being chosen or thrown away because it's just kind of that process of, are they really going to understand me or aren't they not?
Yeah.
And, I feel like me with the lived experience, me trying to be a peer recovery specialist and me getting my LADC, I feel like I can kind of, benefit people that are looking for help. So.
And or if you're like me, I got my bachelor's in drug and alcohol counseling, had my substance use, and then got in recovery. And I didn't get the licensure part because I'm terrible at test taking. But even if you don't go into the LADC field, learning how do you still use the tools that you're learning in school and how to still help the recovery community?
Yep.
Because I had to do that too. I had to readjust. And I still get to use the skills that I learned in school at Minnesota Recovery Connection, helping you,
Yeah.
helping our volunteers, things like that.
Yep.
So there's plenty of opportunities for you.
It sure is.
So we're going to take a break, come back and listen to the final part of Eli's story and some motivational ending. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution here on AM 950.
This guitar needs 6 strings, 'cause without it there's no song. And this house needs love.
Welcome back to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950. I'm Sarah. I'm your favorite co-host. I'm here with
Elijah, York, Eli.
He is so excited and it's so fun. I can feed off his energy. I feel like we're making a dream come true for you.
You are. I mean, this has always been a dream of mine, to be on radio, to be on a podcast. So I've really enjoyed it.
And I think what I love about our show, Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution, is that we get to share hope.
Yeah.
And share that. And I know I said this earlier, but just because you have a substance use disorder does not define who you are for the rest of your life. You are able to make a change and change your trajectory in life.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would have 6 years in recovery from methamphetamine.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, I never thought I could go a year without drinking. So
we're living proof that you can make a difference.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can change. Minnesota Recovery Connection is here to help you. If you need support, reach out. We want to help anybody that needs it because we just believe that everyone deserves a chance at recovery.
Yes.
So, Eli,
Yep.
you are now. So you volunteered with us.
Yep.
You are now an intern.
Yes, I am.
So what are some of the things you'll be doing?
So with the internship, Sarah has graciously been training me how to do the volunteer scheduling and set up all this stuff for that, so I can kind of get direct contact with a lot of the people that are looking to volunteer with Minnesota Recovery Connection. So that'd be
a big part of our organization. So
Sure,
he is helping me out so much.
So that's been very fun. I will be doing the Justice Impacted Pen Pals for another one of our coworkers there, and I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a great experience to be able to communicate with some of our justice impacted folks. And then as well as just kind of doing some telephone recovery and giving people calls, checking in, see how the recovery's been going. And those have honestly been some of the greatest conversations you can have as a human being.
So for those that don't know, what is telephone recovery support?
So telephone recovery support, it involves you reaching out, contacting one of our clients, participants that, would just enjoy having a phone call from us to see if they may need any more resources or any other services that we could try to find or help them receive, as well as just kind of keeping up with them and making sure, that they feel like they're doing okay, checking in on the recovery, just kind of maintaining that good communication and just kind of making sure that they are getting everything that they can get from us that we can get to them. So
and having conversations with them, because I used to do it when I was an intern way back in the day. That doesn't always have to be about recovery.
No, it does.
I'm sure you're having regular conversations with people, which I'm sure help people because it's not recovery all the time.
Yes, and sometimes I'll just let them dictate where the story wants to go. If they don't want to talk about recovery, they want to talk about the plans they have going on for this weekend, I'm all ears for it because I love hearing what people are excited to go do.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, it doesn't always need to involve recovery. If you just want to talk to me, you can always talk to me. So,
yeah. So what is it about doing telephone recovery support that you like so much that has helped your own recovery maybe?
I guess listening to some stories and, finding those connections in your own story. Those have all been really eye-opening for me because it kind of shows you that you're not alone.
Yes, that's the biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
is remembering we're not alone.
Yep. And there's always going to be someone out there that might have a similar story to you. So I would just say, if you're able to listen to someone's story, listen to it, and it could benefit you, it could benefit them immensely. So,
And I would say, I'm going to just do a plug because I'm the volunteer director. If you are interested in learning how to become a peer recovery specialist, or if that's something that you're going to be doing the training with us, start out with telephone recovery support. It's doing peer services. It's just over the phone. It's a great intro. Eli himself will train you in. Just a little plug there.
man, let's do it.
Because why not? Eli also recently joined our peer advisory council.
I did, yes.
So he is MRC, Minnesota Recovery Connection, all the time.
All the time. Yes, I am.
When you can.
Yes. Yep. So peer advisory council, that's been something I've kind of been interested in because
Why?
Well, me and my fiance and I, we're part of the Bleeding Disorders Hemophilia Foundation of the Dakotas, Minnesota's here. And we've been a part of that ever since we moved out here. And we were a part of it in California because her dad worked for it.
Okay.
So volunteering to help set up events, plan, and stuff like that has always been kind of something we've kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, being able to set up more recovery-related events, that's kind of what really drew me into PAC because I really want to get involved in the community and try to, come up with some ways that people could still have fun in recovery because it's not always going to be boring. There's so much fun stuff out there.
And I think that's the biggest misconception is that recovery is boring.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't have to be.
I just think it's because we're so at peace that we think we're bored.
Yes. And I love Minnesota. It is my home. It will always be my home. But I think sometimes when in the middle of winter, it feels like it drags out.
Yep.
And I think that sometimes people just it's too much for some people. Yeah. And then learning new hobbies,
yes,
getting involved in new organizations, or getting involved with us, is a great tool to help you get through the winter.
Very much
I will say.
Yep.
Our peer advisory council, hoping to get more events out there for the recovery community hopefully this winter or spring. Mm-hmm. For sure this summer. We want to get involved with you guys so that you feel connected to us and that you feel connected to other people, because the opposite of addiction is connection.
Yep. Well,
did I say that right?
It sounded very good. So I think we're gonna roll that one.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we got 3 minutes left. What are some what if someone just tuned in? What is something you'd want them to know about you and how recovery has changed your life?
Well, like I kind of stated earlier, it's allowed me the freedom and the understanding of my life again. And what better motivation is the freedom and understanding of your own life?
Yes.
And how important it is to understand yourself and understand what freedoms you do have as a person in recovery. And just, maintain that motivation to get to that portion of that part of you that you want to get to. It might be difficult. It might not. You never know until you try. Yeah.
And that you have such a strong support system is amazing. I will continue to say that to you because you're very lucky.
Yes, I am.
You're very lucky to have that. I have found in my recovery, I have found a partner that's very supportive. He's not in recovery. He's a normal person.
So is my fiance.
So, it's a little, he's a normie, mm-hmm. but just having that person that will always support you no matter what, have your back no matter what, is such a big, big thing.
Yes, it is.
Or it doesn't even have to be a partner. It can be your parents. It can be a sibling. It can be your friends, or, whatever that community looks like for you. Just having that support, finding that support. If you don't have it, come check us out.
Yeah, come on down to Minnesota Recovery Connection. I'd be more than happy to meet you guys.
We'll be a support for you.
Yes, we will.
And we'll help you find that community that you need. Moral of the story, just come down see us. Just check us out. We got opportunities for you. Eli has a great energy. He's a positive. So he'll get you going on your recovery. I promise.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. Dang it. All right. So I'm going to leave you with a motivational thought. Okay. So just remember, in the depths of winter, because that's where we're at right now, that spring is coming. This warmth is coming. And if you're struggling right now, try to find a hobby to get into, or watch a comforting show that makes you feel better, or talk to your friends or family, or adopt a pet if you can. Find something that brings you joy that will help you get through this last bout of winter, because it's hard.
It is hard. It's always the toughest part of year.
So, alrighty. Well, thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution here on AM 950. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.